Good day, podcast community. You are on the Community Matters podcast. I'm Pete Kane, community builder and podcaster, and we have another community builder on the podcast, Brandie Wilson. So, Brandie, tell our viewers that don't know you yet who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then we'll get into our podcast.
Well, good morning, Pete. I'm so grateful to be here with you. You are just a light. Okay. So just for the record. Hello everybody. My name is Brandie Wilson. I am a serial entrepreneur. I have multiple businesses, but the one in Kennesaw is near and dear to my heart. It's Glaze Car Wash right on the corner of George Busby and Wade Green. And we are just out and about, loving on people, washing cars, of course, the best car wash in town for sure, but really just spreading love and joy, especially in times such as these. We're making it part of our business plan and our mission to connect the community to some great energy, joyful times with your family, and clean cars.
It's beautiful. It's music to my ear. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of car washes out there. I pass them
Mhm.
all the time. And there's some that stand out. Yours is one of them. I remember when you were, taking it over and transforming it into something that people were talking about because it was visually attractive. And it's kind of like we knew something was going on and we knew something special was happening because you can't, most of the time you're driving, you're just looking straight forward. You don't look to the left or the right, but you can't help but catch your eye when you pass Glaze. So what were you thinking when you all started Glaze? What was your motivation to make it something that it is right now and getting even better connected to the community?
Glaze, honestly, I feel like Glaze just came to me from God, to be honest. It's just
Mhm.
kind of divine order. And sometimes when you get those ideas that cross your mind, you're kind of like confused because I wasn't even really thinking about a car wash. I know at the time I wanted to do something, I just didn't know what it was. And I remember talking to my husband about it, and he was like, okay, we're gonna start this car wash, and we kind of just went back and forth about, would it be a car wash, would it be a storage unit, would it be a laundromat, what would it be? And um Drew, my husband Joe Wilson, is like chief researcher. Like he's going to study, he's so astute, and he's going to research to the core and find we found that the car wash space is kind of where we would be allowed to, of course, provide a great product, but then also just be ourselves. Because remember, we are entrepreneurs, but we're franchisees, so we would always follow the blueprint of that corporate entity, right?
Mm-hmm.
What but when we started the car wash space, that's like, okay, so we have this car wash. It's an open concept. It's mostly outdoors. We're going to be able to, give the best car washes for the best price in the area. That we know for sure. But then we're like, in our tenure as being entrepreneurs, how do we capture the people part internally and externally?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to be able to choose our internal personnel. Like we have criteria that we look for. We look for a certain character, a certain spirit, a certain can-do attitude with our employees. But we
Mm-hmm.
also want to kind of select our customers too. I know that may sound kind of weird, but we're training our customers on how to treat us as well,
Mm.
because we're consumers too. And I know how I like to be treated as a consumer. And so
Yes.
as we're building out this model, we're like, what are all the things from a consumer's point of view do we want to experience? And at a car wash, you got soap and bubbles, but you can be kind of whimsical at a car wash. You can be creative. And so we were like, you know what? Let's take a box of Crayola crayons and just dump it all over the building. We want to make sure it's as bright as possible. We want to arouse every sense. your
Mhm.
visuals, what you hear. That's why we have these bright colors to arouse your vision. But then we
Mhm.
also have like music playing. Music is also a big part of our identity because when I was coming up as a little girl, I would help my father wash his cars, and he would
Mhm.
always play like 70s soul music. And so for me, I'm like, at this car wash, I want to have like, you know, pleasing music to the ear, music that makes people feel good. It relaxes you. It connects you. Maybe it reminds you of like home or family or friends
Mhm.
or when you were in school or whatever it is. It brings you joy. So you have these visuals that bring you joy, all the art, all the color, you have the music. And then we said we got to make sure the product is right. We got to make sure your car sparkles no matter how old your car is or how new your car is. Every car gets treated equally. Everybody gets a little glaze, right?
Mhm.
And then we start talking about the people. What kind of people do we want representing this brand? Well, we want people of high integrity. We want people who get after it. And how do you motivate that? Well, you got to foster real relationships,
Mhm.
and that takes time. But considering we're trying to get this thing up and running, we don't have a lot of time. So my husband and I had to really roll up our sleeves and really get into the root of each and every person that works at Glaze. Like, what motivates you? What inspires you? What challenges you? And then with our experience as young adults or middle-aged adults, we pour back into them and teach them the way.
Yeah.
And we create a community internally, and then in return for that investment, they start to foster relationships with our customers. So any customer that comes in, they're moody, they're not happy with the service, we turn their frowns upside down, because here at Glaze, this is what we do. So when in Rome, you do what the Romans do. We're joyful people, we're happy people, we help. We have a can-do attitude. We'll figure out an issue. And that is whether I am there, my husband there or not. These young people are capable of leading. And so the whole experience is crafted from a place of love, from community, and just
Mhm.
wanting to serve people.
That is so beautiful. I love just music to my ear. When I drive by Glaze, I'm always looking at the billboard, the neon billboard, because there's always something going on. And it's kind of like our brains love some novelty, they love new things. And so,
Mm-hmm.
it's conditioned just by virtue of seeing what's going on at Glaze that I look over there and I check it out. And so what was your thoughts there, putting something so visual that people can see what's going on? It's like looking into the eyes of a person. You can kind of see their soul, you can see their joy, you can see. So was that something? I know it was kind of intentional, but what was the thought behind it before you even put it up?
Yeah, so like I said, everything was thought out about how to connect with the community. We sit on a corner, it's a busy corner. We get anywhere between 30,000 cars that pass that intersection. So, although I'd like to shake every hand and meet every person, our LED marquee screen helps us to connect with you, to let you know, hey, we're here to serve you.
Hmm.
And we thought, like, when I think of our car wash, I think of like a family reunion. That's just the kind of mindset I have. Like, I always wanted to feel like you're coming home to something. So not only do we offer great products, great people, and our process is consistent, we decided to add in a community touch. Our competitive edge is getting into the community, getting back to the roots of why we have these small businesses. Small businesses depend on the community.
Yes.
It is important that we lock arms, that we not only, as the small business that's operating as a car wash, we provide a service, but we are also consumers of other small businesses. and we want to make sure we stay connected. So at Glaze, we use our car wash as opportunities to do so by planning community events. We have several community events a month. We're
Mhm.
always think this, whether it's doggy day, whether it's highlighting a special small business that's trying to build awareness for a cause, whether it's celebrate mom on Mother's Day and Father's Day, kids going back to school, teacher appreciation, you name it. And even now, like, which I'm so excited, we have this wonderful partnership with Legacy Park, Kennesaw, which is one of the largest neighborhoods in the area.
Mhm.
We've partnered with them this year, and we're sponsoring a mini car show. I'm so excited about it. And why would
Ooh,
we do that, Pete?
yeah, let's bring that
Yeah.
up because that is beautiful. That I think of like Town Center does because our church is right across the street from Town Center, and they do the car show once a month, and people love their cars. They bring them there, they talk about
Yes.
them, they shine them. They're just
Yes.
it's just special to see what car wash. So tell our viewers a little bit about what's coming up this weekend.
Yeah, so we had this brilliant idea last year to have a car show. We originally wanted to have it in at our actual car wash, but we have limited space. So in our partnership with Legacy Park this year, they said, "Oh man, come on, do it over here in our neighborhood," and we were like, "That's perfect." So we have invited several residents to participate and bring their cars to display in the show. We've got some other dealership sponsors that'll be bringing in cars. And then
Mhm.
we've got one of the concourse judges, Aaron Spalding, that's going to be participating in this show as well. He
Mhm.
does the cafe. I'm sorry, the the Octane show that you're referencing in
Mhm.
Kennesaw. He's one of the judges there, and he brought in his expertise to help us pull off just a really nice family-oriented show that's free, open to the public. And we're gonna have food truck. We've got face paint. We've got a cigar lounge. We've got a DJ, and it's this Saturday, June 27th, from 6 to 9 p.m. And it's just going to be a good time because although this is not on site at our car wash, we want people to know Glaze exists and that we are spreading joy wherever we can go, as far
Mhm.
out as we can go. We want people to know that we're about family time, we're about community, and we're about having, you know, bringing joy essentially. So
Mhm.
this is one of our bigger events that we're doing for the year that's extended beyond the car wash. So I'm so excited, so
Mm.
excited. And I wanted to enter my car into the in the show, but because I drive an electric car, they weren't really interested in putting me in there. They said
Well,
they said no,
yeah,
maybe not. They're looking for more of the combustible cars, and they weren't
yeah,
interested.
that's funny. Yeah, let's. You have an employee that I have electric car too, and I put it. I came in there to get a wash, and
Hmm.
certain things are new to just innovation. But
Yes.
it was getting stuck, and I just said to him, call Brandy. But what I should have said is not call Brandy, is just figure it out. But he did. He
Mhm.
immediately searched AI, found out what the car was, and then he just said, do this. And he was walking me through how to get the problem solved. So
Mhm.
talk to about that situation and how you train your team to really I like to say solve problems every day. I mean, because they come up, we can't just brush them under the carpet. We have to figure it out and keep bringing that joy and bringing fun to things, but adapting. Would you share
Mhm.
just a little bit about that what that philosophy and what you do as far as your team?
Yes, of course. Well, I'm so proud of the young man you're referring to. His name is Lyron Young. He's one of our just standout employees. I have to say, I actually talked to Lyron about this the other day, and not to just single him out, but when I first met him, he had some learning to do when it came to being able to solve problems and
Mhm.
to think quickly and not rely on the unknown, like I don't know, or the manager's not here, or yeah, I didn't know how to do that. Those kind of, we can lean into those,
Yeah.
thoughts
Oh, yeah.
and not deliver because of those. But over the last year, we've been really working hard at putting him and others in situations where they have to figure out a solution.
Mm.
Not having a solution could mean somebody could get hurt. Not having a solution, a plan A, plan B, plan C, could result in losing a customer. Um, not providing the right information, so it could lead to problems. And so
Mhm.
what we try to do is come up with giving them the authority, first of all.
Mhm.
That's one thing. As a leader, I give them the authority to make these decisions, and I trust them. I practice also trust. I don't minimize their ability to lead in those situations. So in your case, when you're on the conveyor belt and we can't get the car to get into neutral, you're in a very vulnerable situation, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to get the car through. There's a one-way entry to
Yeah.
this tunnel, and you've got three or four cars behind you, and they're stacking up, and you start to feel like a fish out of water. If you're the employee and you happen to be there by yourself, you're like, oh my gosh. And sometimes your response is to panic.
Yeah.
You go into a whole panic and you're like, yeah, just drive through. Well, if you drive forward, we could get you through safely, but that's not what the conveyor is made for, necessarily, because you've got all these wraps and things that's not their normal function, right?
Mhm.
And so you run the risk of causing problems there. You also have a customer who's probably not you in this case, but there's customers in those situations where they start to feel anxious themselves. So they're kind of panicking. So you're panicking, they're panicking, the people behind them start to panic.
Mhm.
And now you got a big chaotic mess. And I tell my staff, you're in control. You're wearing the uniform.
Mhm.
So I liken it to like a police officer. When you're out in public and that person's wearing a uniform, you don't know that this is their first day, do you? You just assume the officer knows how to handle the conflict, right?
Exactly.
If you're at a grocery store and you're looking for an item, you're looking for a person in the uniform that represents the grocery store, right? Because you just assume they know.
Mhm.
You didn't know that today was their first day, or that they're not aware, they haven't been trained in that
Yeah.
particular expertise. So I tell them, first of all, don't panic. You're the person.
Yeah.
You are the person. Like, you're the person that's going to have the answer. And it's okay to say with integrity to the customer, give me a second. I'm not sure, but we're going to figure something out. So, first of all, I want you to know you're good. Nothing's going to
Mhm.
happen to you. You're safe. I'm going to pull my phone out right now, see if I can look up the functionalities of your car, and we're going to get this thing rolling. Okay. You just give me a few minutes, and then you go back and kindly tell the person behind them, or let your colleague know, hey, let these people know they're okay. Offer some free washes if it's an inconvenience in waiting. Offer to have them go ahead and vacuum first. But we want to safely get this customer. This customer is our priority right now.
Mhm.
Get them in and out of the tunnel. Once you communicate, you immediately bring down the temperature. People know that it's under control.
Mhm.
People know that they know what they're doing. You're instantly increasing your credibility.
Mm.
So there's no reason for you to feel insecure or insignificant. You are in charge. Because I
Mm.
tell them, that's all I'm going to do. You think I'm coming to do something special, like I'm going to do some magic and make it all go away? I don't know either. I have no idea. I don't drive this car, but And then as I go through these experiences, Pete, and as they go through these experiences, you get a little sharper, you get
Yeah.
a little smarter, and then you'll say, oh, I remember last time a Tesla came through, or I remember the last time a big truck like this came through and the auto hold was on and the parking brake was on. And then sometimes I have to ask them to turn their car off and then turn it back. I mean, you'll remember all of these things, so you
Yeah.
become less and less panicked and more prepared. So the teaching is, all of my staff members, all of my colleagues, as I like to call them, are managers in training, whether they want to be or not, because things are always going to come up. And you shouldn't just have to call one person to manage every problem. Any one of you can manage the problem.
Hmm.
And you get to carry this through the rest of your life.
Yes.
You're going to need these management skills for your whole life. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You
Yes.
should be able to stay calm and think. So
Yeah.
that's what I train them on. And that's what helps to prepare them for moments. And I'm so proud that he was able to stay calm and talk to you as a person that
Yeah.
cares. Like, I care about you, and he wanted you to know how to do it. So next
Yes.
time you know how to do it.
I know how
I
to do
love
it
that.
now. Yeah. Because
Yeah, there you go.
it's so empowering me to kind of be able to take that. But he did. He was calming. He was, we were talking through just things as he was figuring it out and thinking. I've read for the second time Thinking for a Change by John Maxwell. It was written early 2000s. And
Hmm.
we were getting into this AI age where sometimes, and I talked to some of the professors at our Rotary Club about how the students are using AI, and some of them say we're probably using it too much. We're not thinking as much as we should, but
Hmm.
maybe that's an evolution of learning how to leverage a tool. You always got to think. I mean, nothing will replace that. You got to be constantly figuring, thinking, prompting, whatever it is. What are you most excited about as you look to this year and beyond? What are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about fostering real, genuine relationships as
Hmm.
an operator. Um, Being in this community in Kennesaw has been just amazing. Even the fact, like, let me give you a little backstory about this car show.
Hmm.
The only reason why this has actually come to fruition, one of the reasons, is because of one of my members at the car wash. I was sharing with this member, like, I want to do this car show. I had at that point had been trying to get it together, but it wasn't working out. And he was like, you should meet, I should introduce you to this person over at Legacy Park.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, I want to meet everybody, but I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But and he kept nudging me, like, you got to meet this lady, you got to meet this lady. And I said, okay, made it, sent her an email, got a response back right away. We met, hit it off, just been through the moon with her. He also introduced me to the concourse judge that's going to be participating in our show.
Hmm.
The point is, through my relationship with him as a customer that we've developed over the last year, he was just the pipeline between all these great things that's happening. I went to a Rotary meeting through a relationship that I met at the car wash as well. And I met you
Hmm.
through that relationship.
Yes.
And I'm like, look at all of these little bridges that are adding to the experience of me being an entrepreneur and an operator of Glaze. Like, it's becoming more than just a business. It's becoming a community. I get
Mhm.
to do this for a living. It feels wonderful to be able to serve and have kids now that, I've watched even in the last year grow up a little bit more, or their voice changed, or people who had a job and they don't have a job anymore, and then they got a new job, and we're all jumping up and down in the parking lot celebrating. And the
Hmm.
people that I've prayed with, my customers that I've prayed with, or we've
Hmm.
cried together and we danced together, it's just so it's the surprising thing is this is turning into something greater than what I came into it thinking
Yeah.
it would be. And that's just God. That's how God works. It's
Hmm.
not without its challenges. And of course, too much is given, much is required.
Yes.
And you're going to have things that come up, but just trusting the process, seeing it all the way through, whether I have a car lot full of cars or not, the same joy is there. The same can do attitude, the same as how can I serve, the same listening ear. I'm excited about what's next with
Hmm.
those relationships and how I continue to grow and these bridges keep growing, and connecting to more and more people. I'm just excited about what the new experiences will be and how we'll grow this thing into just a place, not just for me and
Hmm.
my family, but for all of us to come to Glaze. One customer told me, Pete, I just come here sometimes to just clear my mind. I
Really?
wash my car, I vacuum my car, I
Yeah.
love your music, and it
Yeah.
just relaxes me before I go home. I mean, goodness, what a fruit tree, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad that it does that for you. I'm glad that you can just, bring your kids for a minute and run through the wash and y'all have a little family time. That's the only family time they've had all day.
Yeah.
And on this day we happen to have cotton candy and the kids get snacks, and it's like, wow,
Yeah.
thank you for giving me a little mental break. Or one more example, a lady yesterday, she was like, you know the um the price I'm paying for my membership is just too high. I've got some things going on. I said, well, let me lower it for you. You keep it if I lower it for you? She's like, you do that? So yeah. She's just like, oh my God, okay. And I said, and come to our car show.
Hmm.
She's like, I think I will. We weren't doing anything, and that's something I can look forward to. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, look, I mean, how is that not exciting? And it just energizes me to keep going. So,
Yeah. That is special. My three oldest granddaughters, it's kind of like what you described, a family time. They each take, the mats, one's washing, it's just different things,
mhm,
and they're, just being a part of the music's playing, it's just a fun environment and they enjoy it. And so it's beautiful to watch it and have that
mhm,
family time and have that
mhm.
time to just have them doing work, having fun, but making something really special. I've always
Yes.
wondered this, and I don't think I've ever asked you, but a friend of
Yeah.
mine, he's been in self storage for 20 years. And we
Mhm.
watched that self storage unit just explode over the last
Yeah.
15 years. I'm seeing something similar to car washes. I mean, there seems to be they're opening up everywhere. It's like
Yep.
Starbucks almost. What is
Yep.
it that at this time car washes are becoming so popular, do you think?
Well, one thing, we have a lot of cars on the road. I
Okay.
mean, especially in Metro Atlanta, we don't have a metro system that makes sense for a large metro area like what we have. So you have a lot of cars on the road. And, cars are typically traditionally your second highest or most expensive asset that people have,
Mhm.
outside of their home. So there is a desire to keep that asset looking nice, right?
Mhm.
Where you see a spike is many years ago when the car wash space took the subscription model
Mhm.
in as a part of its operation. That kind of boosted the margins to
Gotcha.
where they became more attractive.
Mhm.
And in the last 15 or 20 years or so, you've seen a spike in them going up everywhere because the margins were so good, the returns were so good.
Mm-hmm.
Then you saw during COVID just a spike of them just popping up everywhere because a lot of, Wall Street money was dumped into that space to where they're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, if these returns are coming back, within 2-3 years, that's a lot better than like food industry where it might be 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
So let's all jump in and get some money out of it. Now, the problem is subscription models, not so much the car washes, but subscription models have kind of uh, have put a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, because if you think, a lot of companies have adopted that subscription
Mm-hmm.
memberships, because that subscription allows the car wash to still operate whether it's rainy days or not rainy days. Back
Mm-hmm.
in the day, if it rained, you were kind of like stuck with no sales.
Yes.
The membership model allows you to continue to operate, allows the customer to have the unlimited access and all of that good stuff. And you still have your retail customers, so it kind of helps to keep the balance there. But what you're seeing, the oversaturation, is just some of it's a little greedy, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of cars on the road. Um, but the bad taste that people have is just not being able to get out of their contracts. There's hidden fees, or there's a spike in membership after a certain period. So that skepticism and paranoia is what we fight against the most.
Yeah.
But you're seeing them grow because of the margins. You're seeing them pop up because a little greedy, and then you see because there's a demand. Typically there's a demand for them because there's so many people driving.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have cash flow, and you got to have consistent cash flow if you want to do
Hmm.
the community events, pour into your team, because you want to be able to invest in customer service and providing the things that you are providing. And if you don't have cash flow, you don't have a business. You have a
You
good
don't
hobby.
have, yeah, you,
Yeah.
you you have to have that. Also, just one thing I would say is just not pinching off of the business too early. A lot of entrepreneurs tend to, want to pay themselves right away, and it's hard to do that. Sometimes you have to work your 9 to 5 while you're building your business. My husband
Hmm.
and I did that for many years with our other businesses, to where they weren't self-sufficient. So when you're borrowing from the month, you're pinching off of your proceeds, and then you don't know if there's something that may come up in the business, like a
Yeah.
big repair, or all of those things do weigh on the bottom line. They're gonna be costly. For us, we look at our marketing budget just like anybody else. We're conservative where we need to be and liberal where we need to be. Even having amenities at our car wash, you have towels, surface cleaners, you have free air fresheners, you have air guns, you've got even air for your tires if you need that. We also wash the rubber mats. All of that's included in your purchase. A
Hmm.
lot of other operators don't do that. And the reason why they don't do that is because people steal towels, unfortunately. They steal towels. I'm saying stealing, because that's what that is. It's not a borrowing
Yeah.
situation. But towels, surface cleaner bottles, they'll take those things. And so some operators are like, look, we're not going to keep buying more and more of these supplies. We'll
Hmm.
start charging people for it, or we'll just take it off completely. And so that's why some operators won't have the towels available, or they'll distribute it themselves. um, and they've kind of removed the surface cleaners and some of the amenities. We look at it as a cost of doing business at Glaze.
Hmm.
It's not encouraged to take those things, but we also know as consumers what we like to experience when we go to the car wash.
Yeah.
And so we just make sure that we may have to be more conservative on other things that we would like to upgrade or spend
Hmm.
money on, to build that consistency and reputation of like, what, at least at Glaze, I'm getting all these things for that set price.
Mm.
Um, Makes you feel good about the values being added to your membership, and you get all these events too. We were serving burgers and hot dogs last week, and people just happen to come to the car wash like, yeah, I'll take a burger, I appreciate it.
Mhm.
That's included in your membership.
That's so good. So I want to be respectful of your time. So let's go tell our viewers how can they get connected to the event coming up and where you're located so they can come out, and if they haven't tried Glaze, they can give it a try.
Yes, please, 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 people, come see us at Glaze Car Wash. It's 1480 George Busby Parkway in Kennesaw, Georgia. And you can come any day of the week. We'll be happy to serve you. We also offer free wash on our website. So go to glazecarwash.com if you'd like to just try. Not just any wash. We're giving you our best wash for free, your first wash. That's our liquid frosting, which is a $30 value, absolutely free for you for a first-time guest. And this event for the Drip and Drive Car Showcase will be Saturday, June 27th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is at the Legacy Park, Kennesaw neighborhood. I
Mm-hmm.
have to I'll have to send you the link to the that address. Pete, I don't have the Legacy Park address
Well, yeah, if you
on hand,
send,
but
we'll
it's
put it in your show notes. Okay, so we'll get it.
excellent.
Okay.
So Legacy Park, Kennesaw neighborhood. This is a free event. You just have to come, show up. We do have a RSVP link that you can also sign up, and I'll include that as well, Pete, in the
Yeah, that's a
in the
QR
note.
code that's on the screen, correct? It says
Yes, they
RSVP.
can scan the
Okay,
QR code
in
to
that.
sign up there. We have about 20, anywhere between 20 to 25 cars, some
Mhm.
specialty cars. We're going to be giving out some awards. It's a fun, family, easy breezy event. You come, you can bring your lawn chairs, walk around, grab you something to eat. It's really just about showing love to the community. So we're so excited to have each of you come out and hang out with us.
That is so good. Thank you for bringing the joy. Thank you for bringing the value to the community and to making it special to be there and to be a part of Glaze. So we appreciate that. Brandie, what's the one thing you would want our viewers to take home from our time on this podcast?
Mm. One thing that speaks to me is we've got to figure out how to lock arms and come together, guys. Like we really do. We're all going to do different changes, right, in this world, and things that we don't even know that are ahead. It's so important that you don't do it alone. No matter what, I kind of look at us as being villagers at this point. We're in a village, right? And
Mhm,
every villager, I tell my kids at Glaze, we have to we got to survive. We're going to survive together.
mhm,
Most times when you're in a really tough situation, like even in the military, you band as brothers and sisters. You come together, we get out together, we don't leave anybody behind. That's kind of how I'm looking at the world right now. We have to start loving ourselves and then loving each other. Lock arms with your neighbor, treat your neighbor well. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to the basics where you care about people, you care about other people's children, you make sure that people around you are not hungry or cold or left alone. You can take time to love people, open the door for someone, be kind, say good morning. Even when you're dealing with a tough situation, if you're on the phone with a creditor or an unlikely person, be kind. Now, I'm not
mhm,
saying be kind, but be patient. Practice patience, kindness. And we all can survive if we just get back to that. We can get back to just um, treating people the way we want to be treated. Let's
mhm,
just see how that works for a while. Because my idea is I want to thrive in a world that may be uncertain at times. But if I have a community around me, we'll make it. If I have food to eat, you have food to eat, Pete. You'll never be hungry if I have food. That's kind of how I feel, and the sentiment I try to share with everybody I come in contact with. Let's get back to that, and we'll be okay. But we've got to commit to it. Each of us have to commit to that because it's so important that for our survival. So that's kind of where I'm at, and that's what God's put on my heart, that that if you want something in this life, you can have it. You deserve it, no matter your
Mhm.
background, no matter where you come from. But you do have to have the heart posture to give and receive love. You've got to have the heart posture to create change where there needs to be change. And the change starts with you. There's no Calvary coming to
Mhm.
save you. You are the Calvary. You are the answer to the problem. Just like Lyron helped you that day, there
Yes.
was no Calvary coming to help you guys. You
Yes.
both had it. He had his part and you had your. You were
Yes.
patient with him. You were kind. You didn't panic. And so he was able to give you that in return, and you guys worked that out, and then you were on your way, right? So that is a
Beautiful.
small micro dose of what we
Yes.
need to do to survive.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing joy, impact, and community to the team, to Glaze, and to Kennesaw. We really appreciate what you're doing, and thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. It's my honor. Thank you, Pete.
You are most welcome.